This will be a short day for me talking, show you what the deal is with assigning materials to family components, and then I want you to start with the ones that you made last semester, and we'll walk through a couple of iterations of those, each with your own table or chair or whatever that happened to be. And that will involve using some of Revit's own materials, and then you guys finding some that, perhaps creating ones that you need for that. So I'm just going to go back to my materials demo image here. So here we are, and what I want to talk about, as I said, is assigning materials to families and to objects within families. And if you remember, putting the dirt material on the base of the base cabinet doors meant selecting the cabinet, going back into Edit Family, painting those faces, and then bringing that back into the model. And that's really a problem, because what if you have 7 of these base cabinets, and this is the only one that you're changing the color of? Changing the family would have changed them all. So Revit provides a very handy way to assign materials to all or part of a component, to individual instances of a type, or to all instances of a type. And this is all done from the project level, not having to go back into Edit Family. You can change it for the whole object. You can change it for part of an object. You can have the legs of a table, choose whether they are chrome or black. At the same time, you're deciding whether the top of the table is wood or glass, something like that. So we're going to work through just how that works. You already know that when we pick a base cabinet like this and go into Edit Type, we have what are called dimensional parameters. And these are dimensions that we type in here, and they get passed back to this object as it's coming out of the Family Editor. So it's like we enter the information here, but it gets picked up in the object. And these are called parameters. I've seen it used a couple of different ways, but in Revit, it means a parameter is information you enter at the project level, either here in Properties or in Edit Type, to modify something over here, either the size or materials, without having to go and edit the family. And here's how this works. Why don't I just go through this first one, then we'll do like 3 exercises together, and then you can go off on your own with your own objects. So I'll create a new family just to see how this works. File, new family, and I'm going to use, and I'm going to call it furniture. And it's important that you know, as you're defining a family, just as the ones that you did back in the fall, we have to tell it what kind of a thing it is, so it'll turn off when its category turns off, or otherwise be affected when you select that whole category. And I think what I'll make is some sort of like a cash desk at a bank or something or other. I'm just going to make, let's say, an extrusion, which I should have centered on the axes, but didn't. About 2 by 2 feet, and we'll make that 4'6". Make it 4 feet high. Okay, and I'm going to put like a round top on top of that. Create extrusion. And we'll have that start at 4 feet and go up to 4 feet 2. And we'll look at that in 3D. So just a simple thing like this. When I was working in the Family Editor with that base cabinet, I painted the front of the doors with the dirt material, which locks them into being that material in all sizes of that cabinet. So what we don't want to do here is to go in and just pick a hard-coated material like glass or earth or something. Let's see what's even available here. Well, it's like not much in this furniture template. Okay, we'll just say glass. Okay. I don't want to do that because that will just lock it in being glass forever. What I actually want to do here is we're going to create a new parameter, which is like a stand-in name where we can pass information back and forth from the project level back to the object itself. So we're going to go to Material, and over here, this little dot, we associate a family parameter. We're going to click on that. And right now, there are no material parameters associated with this. So we're going to create one. This little sunburst always means create whatever we're creating up above. This will be a parameter unique to this family of whatever this thing we're creating. And I'm just going to call it, I'm on the base, I'm going to call it base material. And because I picked it over here, Revit already knows that we're talking about we're passing the name of a material to this object. And we're going to start out by doing this by type, so that every copy, every instance of this type will all update together when we change the material definition. So just like a lighting fixture, if you change the wattage of a type, they'll all dim. Here, if we change the material of all these of the same type, then they will all change. So we have a family parameter called base material. This is what will actually show up over here in type properties. And it's by type, and we'll group it under materials and finishes, and we say, okay. Okay. So now, when we pick this base, we see that material by category is grayed out to indicate that a material parameter has been assigned to it. And we're going to use just idea, this parameter called base material. I'll do the same thing for the top. For our top, we're not going to give it a direct material. We're going to go here and create a new parameter called, you guessed it, top material. Again, a family parameter by type. All of the copies of this in the drawing their top materials will all change at the same time. Okay. Okay. So now we need to save this file, save as family. And I'm going to be very good about putting this into my Revit families, not back into Revit's Imperial Library. And this is more or less a table, I guess. And we'll call this round teller table. I don't know what it is. Okay. And then we'll load this into the project and close. We've saved it so we can safely close it. And then we'll be placing it on the floor once we get back to Revit. Okay, so here's our round teller table. It's thinking. We should be able to place it here. Okay. There. So at this point, those two materials, those two parameters, base material and top material, there's no actual material associated with them yet. So they just show gray. So when we pick this object, actually let's make a copy of it here. Control drag. When we select either one of these, we don't see materials starting to show up in the properties of the table. But remember, we said that there was going to be a parameter for all the tables of this type. So right now, then these show up, base material and top material, just the way we wrote them. And now I can actually go ahead and pick a material like, wood or brick or whatever I want to have from this little dot. Let's say the pattern for the base, that's okay. Apply, okay. And we see that that's been applied to them. If I say that's a little too, whatever, pick it again, go to edit type, and instead of BG pattern, that one, I'll pick something more demure. We'll make it look like brown bricks. Okay. Apply. Okay. So just like that, we can change them. The top now, what should that be? Glass top onto the bricks. That's pretty exciting. Okay, how do you think I'm gonna do that? I'm just gonna, once you see how it works. Once it just continues on through. Edit type. Top material, and these always just sort alphabetically. We'll scroll. I can just type. Oh, copper is nice, but let's do glass. Type search for glass. See what we get. Air, glass, clear, glazing. Let's just use this right here. Apply. Okay. And if you get into render, it'll actually look like, see, there's a little bit of tone to that glass. It's a little bit gray. One thing that would be interesting here would be to turn off the lines to turn off the edges of things so we don't see those black lines. We just see the stuff itself. And we can do that for any view down here in graphic display options for this window and uncheck show edges and apply. Okay. So that's pretty zooty, you know, if that's the look that you want. If we decide let's not make it glass, let's make it that copper. Again, you pick this, edit type, glass. Nah, let's make it look like money. Copper. Okay. Apply. Okay. So, and then that'll shine when we're actually doing the renderings and stuff. So here's a family where the materials are all set by type. The instances in the model all update identically. All of them act the same. But if you're in a restaurant, let's say that you want to have all your chairs to have polished stainless chrome steel legs, but you'd like to be able to have the backs in the seat change out per individual chair. Let's go make a very rudimentary chair to illustrate this possibility. File, new, family. Again, pick the furniture, RFT, family template. Let's do a circular extrusion for a leg. This is just for a leg, and make it 2 feet high. And if you remember, an extrusion can actually have multiple parts. If I end up making 4 separate ones of these, I might not get all their legs to come back to the same height. So I'm actually going to pick this again and go to Edit Extrusion. Select this, mirror it about that line. Yeah. And then select both of those and mirror them about that line. And now we have as one object 4 legs. Look at them in 3D. See, there we go. Okay. So they're one object, and I can change them all at one time. Let's say 1'6" legs. Okay, let's go back and put on a seat and a back that is all one piece. And I think what I'll do is just go into a side view. A couple of different ways to do this. And I'm just going to draw a generic sort of a shape there. Create, extrusion. I'm going to set my work plane. And since we're in a left view, the plane I want to pick is the reference plane that says center left right. The center front back is the one that's running in the other direction, but this is the one I want that's running perpendicular to our field of view. Pretty flash. I want you all to do better than this on your furniture. Okay, and then its depth, I'll just make, okay, 2 feet is fine for that. We'll see how that looks. Go into the plan view and just drag this over. 3D view. Okay, pretty, yeah. I went to graduate school. Okay, so there's that. But this is one where I want all of these, regardless of what I do to the top, I want all the legs of these to stay the same. So these will again be assigned a material by type, and the seat and back will be assigned a material by instance, so that each individual chair in the drawing can have it red, blue, green, whatever we want to have there. So pick the legs. We're not doing material. We're creating a parameter over here. Make a new one. Leg material. I try to be as explicit about that as I can. And we'll do a leg material by type. So they'll all change. Okay. And then we'll do this guy new, and we're going to make this one called seat material will be by instance. So each individual chair can have its own color material for its back. Okay. File, save as, family, clunky, chair for material demo. That's been saved, so I'll load that into the project and place a couple of them here. So as before, when I pick this and change go to edit type, all we see is leg material. That's the only parameter that they have in common. And I'll maybe pick stainless, shiny, some stainless steel, chrome steel, one of these. Steel polished. There are a lot of them that it's really hard to tell the difference, but apply, okay. So they pick it up, and what we see here is sort of a reflection of what's around them. And then if we pick this chair, now the seat material is now here as a property of this individual object in the regular old properties palette. So all we need to do is to pick that material. But let's just say we want that one to be the BG pattern. So that's that chair. And then this chair can have its own completely different thing under seat material. Carpet, why not? And we could have set this up so that one of these chairs, so that the legs were also done by instance. So this could have steel legs and this could have copper legs and something else could have something else. And I think you can see how we would go ahead and do a table where both were by instance. So, oh, I should point something out. If you do use paint in a family, let's go and edit this guy again. Edit family. If I paint a face here in the family editor, that will override whatever I'm doing back at the project level. Let's do paint. Oh, let's use dirt again since that's there. If I paint this with dirt, done. Load into project and close. Do I want to save it? Yes, might as well. That's saying, do you want to replace the one on disk? It says there's already one there. Do you want to replace it? Yes, I do. I want this to be the updated version here. And if I use it again in another project, and now it's saying, do you want to change the one do you want to change the definition here in the drawing? It's going to change it from ones that have the pattern on it to the ones that have the dirt on it. And here's where if we're just dealing with geometry, overwrite the existing version is all you have to do. But when we're starting to deal with parameters being passed and materials being assigned, we always want to pick this guy. We want to get the most recent version of everything to do with this chair. So pick that one. And we see that because that was painted, it overrides both of those guys. So that way you might have a desk with some inlay, and you always want the inlay to be, I don't know, walnut. So that would be painted with walnut. And then the whole rest of the desk could go back and forth from oak or cherry or pine or whatever you wanted to have with a type materials parameter. So this is the shortest demonstration of the course so far, because now it's your day to take the 4 families you made for one of those last assignments, which I hope you still have here. Think about what materials you would like to have. Are they going to be the same materials? Are they going to be different materials? What materials are they going to be? And start thinking about how they're going to get presented in color in your renderings. I suggest each of you pick a simple one to start with. So find one, decide where you're going, and I'm just going to go from desk to desk and see how it's going.